The HD remake of the original Resident Evil is currently available on Xbox Games on Gold. If you're my age, you'll remember the original version on the PlayStation 1, and perhaps the remake on the GameCube too. But is this version worth the download? Let's find out. This game isn't easy to find on Games on Gold. You won't find it on your home screen. For some reason, you have to go right into the store to find it. Go to Subscriptions, scroll down to Xbox Live Gold, and there you should see the game. Resident Evil is a definitive survival horror game from Capcom, with a mix of mystery, puzzle solving, item management, shooting and survival, all in a B-movie horror setting. You play as one of two characters who are trapped inside a creepy mansion filled with zombies and other undead creatures, solving the mystery and unveiling the conspiracy of what's going on whilst trying to survive and escaping with your life. Right from the off, there's a nice touch where the game gives you the option to have the original or new wide aspect ratio, which I think most will prefer. You can select to play as STARS agents Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine with their GameCube remake costumes, or an even newer look for this HD version of the game. What's great is that choosing your character isn't just a visual thing. They have different attributes and slightly different paths which open the door to different experiences when you play. For example, Jill has a lockpick, so can open certain paths earlier than Chris, as well as having more inventory space to work with. Chris, on the other hand, has more health and can move faster. These differences encourage you to replay the game, and therefore gives you a longer game experience and more bang for your buck.
Yeah, well, I think you should take a look at this.
This game is gorgeous. I remember being blown away by the GameCube remake back in 2002, and incredibly, with this HD remastering, it still holds up. If you want to poke holes, you can say that the characters' faces are a bit wooden, and that some textures aren't that great close up, but damn, this game is 20 years old. It runs really well too. On my Xbox Series X, load times are exceptional. I haven't experienced any frame rate drops, Quick Resume has worked like a charm every time, and Auto HDR adds a nice touch too. The sounds in this game are also fantastic. You can really hear the sound change when you walk from one surface to another. Zombie moans are eerie, and the beautifully composed music really adds atmosphere and puts you on edge when necessary. While we're talking about sounds, let me just mention that the terrible voice acting is here in all its glory, with classic awful lines of dialogue so woefully delivered that it never fails to make me laugh. It's not quite as awful as the original, but still manages to retain the B-movie charm that made it so brilliant in the first place. And I think the reason that Resident Evil manages to pull this off without seeming ridiculous is that this voice acting is coupled with genuinely creepy horror gameplay. You'll be laughing 1 second and sweating the next, giving you a good range of emotions while playing.
What could have done this to him?
God only knows, but I'm gonna find out what did this to him.
Another staple of the early Resident Evil games are the iconic fixed cameras. Unlike the Resident Evil 2 remake, those static cameras are still here. And for the most part, they add to the claustrophobic atmosphere and add a vibe that you're almost being watched. Because of those camera angles, you might hear a noise but not be able to see what it is, which adds to the tension. Much like I said in my review of The Medium, the characters can cause an issue with working out which way you're going when the camera suddenly changes, and it can feel very cheap to be attacked by an enemy hiding around a corner you had no chance of seeing. So, how does the game play? Resident Evil is a difficult game. Ammo is often hard to come by, plus, most zombies are bullet sponges. So this can make running out of ammo a real problem. Add to that the fact that you only have a limited amount of space to carry items, meaning that you'll often run out of ammo and have to avoid and run away from enemies rather than killing them, which in narrow corridors can be very difficult. Even when you have the ammo, shooting can be difficult because of the camera angles not giving you a line of sight, and that the shooting controls are clunky to say the least. The fact that the enemies are hard to kill adds to the fear they induce, and really makes this more of a classic survival horror title rather than the action adventures with zombies that the later Resident Evil games started to become. I like a challenge in my games, But if you're new to the game, I suggest you don't go near the hard difficulty. I tried, but after running out of ammo and dying multiple times in knife fights, it became clear I was out of my depth, so restarted on medium, which was challenging, but not so much that I couldn't progress. Oh my god, he's still alive. I'm dead again. Oh my god. Things come. Another staple of the franchise, and possibly my favourite part, are the puzzles. What I like about these puzzles is that the game doesn't give you too much hand-holding throughout. Whereas many other games will prompt you to use an item, here you will have to look at the clues and work it out for yourself, manually going into your inventory and trying out items if necessary. This really adds to the feeling of accomplishment when you complete a puzzle. The negative side of this is that it is possible to get really stuck, but if all else fails, there's plenty of guides online. The only other thing I'd add gameplay-wise is that whereas the limited inventory space gives a challenge, it can be more of a pain than I'd want it to be. Not having the ability to drop an item on the floor to pick up another, and having to run through half the mansion through multiple doors and past enemies to get to an item box every time I want to grab something can be quite tiresome. And I was playing with Jill, who has more inventory space. But that's only a minor issue in an otherwise fantastic title. Oh, don't be like that. I want to swap it. So, in conclusion, Resident Evil is the definitive survival horror experience. The updated graphics look great, and the atmosphere that made this game what it is has been captured perfectly. It gives a good challenge, rewards you for solving problems, is a decent length, and has a great potential for replayability that will keep you coming back. So, whether you've never played a Resident Evil title, or want to get some nostalgia of where it all began, I can highly recommend this game to you. I'm giving Resident Evil an A. Have you played Resident Evil? What did you think? Let me know in the comments below. I stream a new title every Sunday evening UK time on Twitch at rosterboss_official, so join me there to see another new Xbox Game Pass or Games on Gold title being playtested. And or join me on Tuesday evenings for regular PUBG action. If you liked this video or found it useful, please like and subscribe, it really helps the channel. Thank you for watching, see you next time.